Hello, my name is Kevin and welcome to the Love of Decanters channel. So today I'm going to talk about and show you World War II celery vases. Yep, they are a thing. I only have one. And so during World War II, there was a lot of stuff going on and people weren't allowed to make art glass, okay? And a vase is art glass. And tableware is not art glass. So a celery vase for putting your celery on that you would eat out of is tableware and not art glass. Okay, so the government didn't want people making mistakes, so they had a utility standard for making everything, for furniture, for clothes, everything. And in order to ensure that celery vases were not mistaken as art glass, they had to have the word celery etched or engraved on them. So you see those about. I have one. I will show you how that looks, and I'll show you a couple of references that I have just to show you what it is that I'm showing you. And so it was a thing. It was a thing that you could collect if you're looking for mid-century, because clearly the requirement to do this was from 1942 to 1952. So that's about as mid-century as you're going to get as a really defined period. But a lot of the designs and everything would be straight from, pre-war, maybe even earlier. But anyway, let's get on. I will show you the vase that I have first, and then I'll show you a couple of references for it, okay? Okay, so let's get on with the film. Here's the vase that I have. I think it's Thomas Webb or Whitefriars. I think it's Thomas Webb. And let me show you what makes it a celery vase. Can you see there on the base? Yes, it has the word celery, and it's actually on both sides. It's turning it around. Can you see? That's etched underneath. If you look underneath, you can see it backwards. It's got a lot of wear there as well. This has been used as a vase because you can see a little bit of bloom running around the middle there. If you look, you can see this hazy bit here. So it has been used as a vase. So if it was Whitefriars, this pattern is called ribbed wave, and if it's Thomas Webb, it's called cascade. Now, all the Whitefriars ones are webs and bowls, and I think lamp bases as well. And all of the Thomas Webb ones are tableware or toiletry stuff. So let me show you something quick. This is the whitefriarsglassworks.com website, and so these are the cascade pattern lamp bases. If I go over to the next, this is the 1938 catalogue, by the way, so this is just before the war. And these are the vases that they do, and if I go on the next page, there's no more cascade vases, so that's that. However, Woodart, they made things under special order for Woodart. They made these ribbed wave vases, and this one looks very like the one that we were looking at, but it says 7 inches, and the one we were looking at was 6 inches tall, and also this one's more rounded right down here, whereas that one kind of cuts in more. So it is similar, but it's not quite the same. It could be that Woodart were doing a slight variation for celery vases, but I am unsure of that, and there is another reason why I don't think it is made by Whitefriars. So popping back to the vase here, you can see, yeah, if you take that little bit off the bottom there, you can see it's 6 inches. So yeah, it is a 6-inch vase. And what's different about it? This feels, you can feel it, the cascade pattern, you can feel it quite clearly. It is quite thin, and you can feel it very clearly on the inside as well. The Whitefriars ones tend to be thicker and less, I don't know, there's less optic, I would say. Yeah, so the cascade pattern doesn't show, well, the cascade pattern's a bit clearer than the Whitefriars vases. It might be I'm still wrong, but you can see this is not rounded, it kind of just cuts in there like that. So yeah, so although I don't have a direct reference for this as a Thomas Webb vase, it doesn't feel like a Whitefriars one, and it's not an exact match for the ones that we do have. So before you go discounting what I said about Thomas Webb, this is an advert from 1930-31 for wave ribbed. They're calling it wave ribbed, but it's not. It's cascade, this pattern. So Webb's handmade glass picture suite. So yeah, even in 1930, not everybody had running water upstairs, so you would need a jug and a bowl to wash your face and shave, etc. Got a carafe and other little bits of toiletry things with it. But yeah, this is the pattern. Let me show you something in another book, because this is just, I just want to nail this down a bit. This book is British Glass 1800 to 1914 by Charles Hajdamach, and it's got this little bit section here about various moulded patterns by Thomas Webb, 1855, but on the next page it goes up to 1855 to 1980, and there it is. There's the pattern, cascade, introduced in 1900. So that is the pattern. So when anybody tells you, you look at the top of something, and if it's a hexagon, it is Whitefriars, and if it's a square, it's Thomas Webb. That's not entirely true, because they're talking about the wave pattern. That's square, and the cascade is a hexagon, and it's still Thomas Webb. So they both did hexagons. You just have to look at what kind of glass it is. Is it tableware, or is it art glass, e.g. bowl, vase, lamp base? Anyway, so let's yeah, just because there was that contradiction in that magazine we were looking at, I thought I'd show you this. This book is Miller's 20th Century Glass by Andy McConnell, and yeah, and this is why it pays to read books. You can see this one's got the word celery here at the top, and it explains what I was telling you earlier. That is part of the utility ware. He doesn't actually describe it as that, but that's what it is. 1942 to 52. So as I said, utility wares was something that was on everything, clothes, furniture, you know, you name it, that had to be manufactured for people to use, to consume. It had to fit in a certain criteria, and lots of things changed just to fit the criteria, even fashion. So anyway, this one is a Thomas Webb one. Most of the ones I do see are Thomas Webb, which is another reason to think that one is Thomas Webb. I thought I would do a quick search just to show you, or see if I could find the one that we were looking at. I didn't, of course, but there are millions of celery vases. If it's something you wanted to collect, knock yourself out, because you'll be there forever, like me and my decanters. Yeah, so I think from what I'm seeing, they seem to start out in the sort of like late Georgian Regency period, and carrying on being used well into the sort of like 20th century, mid-century. And also by design, the earlier ones tended to have a stem and a foot. You can see stem and a foot. But there you go. These ribbed ones, these were kind of like, this kind of design was used for bars and inns from sort of like 1840s through to the 1890s. So you can see quite a lot of these. So they were obviously being used in bars and inns and pubs and stuff. So I didn't realise people probably were having a bit of celery on the side with their beer maybe, or something, I don't know. Then you go on, you can see, look, there's a nice early one with a turnover rim like a Georgian one. There's a nice frosted one that makes it mid. 19th century. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff going on here. When I was flicking through, look at that fancy one there, that's something else. That looks like it's John Walsh or somebody like that. Might not be though. Yeah, there's some really fancy ones and some really just basic, like pressed glass like this is just a tall bucket. And there was one on here I could date exactly almost, I think. Where was it? It was quite far down because I did look at a lot. Oh, this one's from 1930s. This one's a Davidson. This, recognise this pattern. It's called Chippendale. This one here. Where was it? It must have been quite far down. In fact, it must have been a long way down. There's, oh, this one here. So yeah. So I think this one is by Webb from 1864. So there's a nice tight date for you. Anyway, yeah, a lot of them were made. Lots of patterns and styles, just going with whatever the fashion was. So yeah, very wide. Oh, they've started to run out of steam now. So anyway, you can see what I'm talking about. There's lots of styles and lots of yeah, techniques, etc., for making them. So yeah, I only have this one celery glass, and the reason I just have this one is because glass to me is like a collision of design and craft and technology, yeah, all jamming into one. And then there's like a commercial aspect to it, and occasionally there's a government influence, and this is one of those occasions. So I kind of like, yeah, celery vases is a fashion thing, and it's a thing people were doing and eating celery off the table. I'm not a big fancier of celery myself, but yeah, this is a bit different because this is a prescribed item by the government. It had to have that word put on it, otherwise it couldn't be made. Yeah, I quite like that. Anyway, and also you go, there's the time frame, 1942, 1952, definite. So what I've got to say now, yes, all the references I used will be in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I will be making more, so please like and subscribe because it helps my channel expand and bring more people into the church of glass collecting. And so thank you for watching, and have a good night. Good night.